What if the only thing standing between you and a new life isn't talent, luck, or age, but the courage to start again? If you've ever felt behind, stuck, or like you've wasted too much time, this story will remind you of one simple truth. It's not too late, and tonight could be the moment everything begins to change. At 29, Marco had mastered the art of looking busy. He knew how to scroll with purpose, how to nod thoughtfully in meetings he didn't care about, how to say, "Yeah, I'm working on something," when people asked about his plans. From the outside, he looked fine. Inside, he felt like a train that had missed its track years ago. Every birthday felt heavier than the last. 25 had been still young. 27 was figuring it out. But 29 felt like a quiet accusation. You've wasted too much time. Marco believed it. He believed it every time he opened social media and saw classmates launching businesses, getting married, traveling the world. He believed it when his mother casually asked, "So, what's next for you?" He believed it most at night, when the noise died down and there was nothing to distract him from the truth he feared. He had no direction. Once, he wanted to be a graphic designer. He used to sketch logos in the margins of his notebooks. He'd spend hours playing with colors and typography just for fun. But life happened. Bills came. Responsibilities stacked up. He took a safe job in an office doing data entry for now. "Just until I figure things out," he told himself. "Maybe I'm just not meant for anything big," he muttered one evening, staring at his reflection in the bathroom mirror. Maybe this is it. That thought settled into him like dust, quiet, heavy. One evening, after another long day of pretending he cared about spreadsheets, Marco decided to walk instead of taking the bus home. The air was cooler than usual. The sky glowed orange, fading into deep blue. Streetlights flickered awake one by one. He walked without direction. Fitting, he thought. As he turned into a quiet residential street, he noticed a small scene unfolding near the sidewalk. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, was wobbling on a tiny pink bicycle. Her knees were wrapped in oversized pads, and her helmet slid down over her eyebrows. Beside her, a woman, probably her mother, jogged slightly bent over, holding the back of the seat. "Don't let go," the girl squealed. "I'm right here," the mother laughed. The bike swerved. The girl shrieked. The mother steadied her. Marco slowed down. He watched as the mother adjusted the helmet and said gently, "You're doing better than yesterday." The girl took a deep breath. "Okay, don't let go." They tried again. This time, the mother's hand hovered behind the seat, but didn't quite touch it. The girl pedaled harder, face scrunched in concentration. For 3 seconds, she rode on her own. Then she tipped sideways and landed in the grass. Silence. Marco felt a strange tightness in his chest. The girl didn't cry. She looked down at the grass stains on her knees, then up at her mother. "I almost did it," she said, wide-eyed. "You did do it," her mother replied. "You just stopped too soon." The girl grinned. Again, Marco stood there longer than he meant to. No one else seemed to notice the moment. Cars passed. A dog barked somewhere in the distance, but something about it lodged itself inside him. "You're doing better than yesterday." When was the last time he'd said that to himself? Instead, his inner voice said, "You're behind. You're late. You wasted your 20s. The little girl didn't say, "I should have learned this at 4. She didn't compare herself to other kids. She didn't quit after falling. She just said, "Again." The mother stepped farther back this time. The girl pedaled. For 5 seconds, she rode alone. The wind caught her hair. Her mouth opened in a laugh that sounded like pure victory. "I'm doing it!" She fell again, harder this time. Marco flinched. The girl lay there for a second, staring at the sky. Then she sat up, brushing grass from her arms. Again, she repeated, breathless, and that was it. No dramatic speech, no lightning bolt from the sky, just a child who didn't see falling as failure, only as part of the process. Marco resumed walking, but something had shifted. He thought about all the times he'd stopped after one fall, the online course he enrolled in but quit after 2 weeks because he wasn't good enough, the freelance project he almost applied for but didn't because other people are more talented, the sketchbook gathering dust in his drawer. He hadn't failed. He had stopped too soon. By the time he reached his apartment, the sky was fully dark. He stood outside his door for a moment, keys in hand, heart beating faster than usual. The old voice tried to speak. "You're too old. It's embarrassing to start now. What if you fail again?" But another voice, quieter, steadier, answered, "You're doing better than yesterday." Inside, Marco didn't turn on the TV like he normally would. He didn't scroll. Instead, he walked straight to his bedroom and opened the bottom drawer of his desk. There it was, the sketchbook. He ran his fingers over the cover like he was touching something fragile. Maybe he was, not the paper, the version of himself he had abandoned. He sat at his desk. His hand hovered over the first blank page. It felt ridiculous, dramatic, pointless. "Again?" he whispered to himself. He drew a line, then another. They weren't perfect, they weren't even good, but they were there. For the first time in years, he lost track of time, not because he was distracting himself, but because he was immersed. He experimented with shapes, played with ideas. He sketched a rough logo for a fictional coffee shop, then another. At midnight, he leaned back in his chair. He hadn't magically found his purpose. He hadn't fixed his life, but he had started. The next day, instead of just thinking about change, he did something that terrified him. During lunch break, he searched for beginner freelance design gig. His hands trembled as he created a simple profile. He uploaded 3 of his best sketches, imperfect but real. Before he could overthink it, he clicked submit on a small project request, a local bakery looking for a basic logo. His heart pounded the way it had when he was a teenager confessing a crush. This wasn't a guarantee of success, it was a pedal forward. That evening, on his walk home, he passed the same street again. The little girl was riding smoothly now. No hand behind her seat, no wobbling, just wind and laughter. Marco smiled. She caught his eye for a split second as she zoomed past, proud and unstoppable. He didn't know if she remembered how many times she fell. He just knew she kept going. Marco walked on, shoulders a little straighter than before. He still didn't know exactly where his life was headed, but for the first time he understood something simple and powerful. Time isn't wasted when it teaches you what stopping feels like. It's only wasted if you never start again. That night, instead of wondering if he was too late, he drafted a plan. 1 hour of design practice every day, 1 application every week. No grand promises, no overnight transformation, just again. And this time, he didn't stop at the thought of a new life. He began building it. It's never too late to begin again. Falling behind doesn't mean you failed. It just means you stopped too soon. Growth happens the moment you choose to try again, no matter how much time you think you've lost. And if this story reminded you that real change starts with one small step today, don't just watch, act. Drop a comment with the one small move you're making after this. Hit subscribe for stories that push you forward every week. And let's build the life you've been waiting for together.